Yo, what's good, guys? This is just going to be another trade recap video today, and it's going to be on SPY trade recap and Apple trade recap. And then I also have an NQ paper trade, just because I haven't bought into a futures trading firm yet, but I'm just like practicing with futures right now. So anyways, this is SPY on the 5-minute chart, and this was my first trade today. So right here was my first entry on SPY calls, and my entry was based off support of the pre-market low and support on the previous high of the day, but we didn't even really hold up above pre-market low. I kind of got in prematurely on that, but then we kind of formed this trend line, and we dropped all the way to the bottom of the zone, and my stop loss was going to be a close below the zone, but obviously that never happened. So then I stayed in, and then when I saw this big green candle right here, I averaged down, and I was in heavy into my calls. And this entry was great because it also pumped above the AEMA and held above all these EMAs right here. And then we broke this trend line right here at the same time that the UK deal came out with the United States for trading. And then my original take profit was pre-market low right here at 567.99. But I saw the movement and I knew it was off news, so I decided to hold it a little bit longer, and I sold up here at around 569 for about 110% increase. And my second trade was Apple, and I actually entered Apple yesterday, and my entry was based off this double bottom after the Apple and Google news for like the search engine. And so like I said, I got in off the double bottom, and I got in next week expiration calls, and my take profit was the top of this pivot zone, which I found on the daily chart. As you see, this zone, like every time we enter this area, a big pivot happens, either up or down. So it was the top of that zone, and we hit that today at around 200 or like 199.50 on Apple, and that was about 80%. All right, and lastly, this is my NQ paper trade, and like I said, I haven't actually bought into a futures firm yet, but I'm just practicing and like looking at that chart for futures before I buy in. So if you don't know, futures is a little bit different than options, and a big popular pivot point on NASDAQ futures is these 10 levels, so 20,010, 20,110, etc. So I have these mapped out, and then today when I saw that we came back down and we had a little bit of consolidation right here at the 20,010 level, I marked this right here, and then in my mind my entry would have been right here, and then around that time is when that deal came out and we just absolutely started pumping. And then since there's no theta on futures, I probably would have continued to hold this up until we had a retest of like the AEMA. So my take profit would have been somewhere around here, or it would have been one of these 10 levels, and yeah, that would have been thousands off just one contract on futures. But like I said, I haven't bought into it yet, but I am going to soon. But yeah, those are my two trades today, and then my futures paper trade. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.